Are you serious? Are you serious? The war in Ukraine is getting ready to rage on. That's right. The newly elected president of Ukraine, Petro Poroshenko, is lifted and has lifted the unilateral ceasefire. Are you serious? Something biblical is truly going on with the signs of the second coming of Christ. You know, Jesus said there would be wars and rumors of wars. Nation would rise against nation, kingdom against kingdom. There'd be famines, pestilence, earthquakes in divers places, and all of these would be the beginning of sorrows. Well, folks, besides Kim Jong-un, who's fired 5 missiles indiscriminately into the waters, some of them toward Japan, and the fact that ISIS, the Islamic State of Iraq and Syria, is marching through Iraq and Syria and threatening to move in completely over Baghdad. While that's going on, we know we can go to Israel, has fired 34 different locations in the Gaza Strip, hunting down Hamas after the brutal murder and massacring the death of these 3 young Jewish teenage students whose bodies were found near Hebron. While that's all going on, there's a situation developing in, of course, Europe, in Ukraine. Russia, who's been secretly behind the back, supplying the pro-Russian speaking Ukrainians to try to overthrow the current Ukrainian government. But the Ukrainian newly elected president, Poroshenko, has signed a new deal with the European Union, which gives him an economic package and a trading agreement which strengthens the nation of Ukraine and strengthens his power. Well, today, this morning, July 1st, 2014, the Ukrainian President Petro Poroshenko said he was abandoning his unilateral ceasefire in the conflict with the pro-Russian separatists and sending his military forces back on the offensive after talks with Russia and European leaders failed to start a broader peace process. Poroshenko's decision, announced shortly after the much violated 10-day ceasefire expired, raises the prospect of a renewed escalation of the conflict that has killed more than 400 people in Ukraine. A grave and sober, very serious Poroshenko made a televised address early this morning vowing that he will attack and will free, he says, we will free our country. The ceasefire expired last night at 10 p.m. There was no immediate sign of a response by the Russian President Vladimir Putin earlier this morning, and the idea behind the truce announced back on June 20th was to give the pro-Russian rebels a chance to disarm and to start a broader peace process. Remember, John F. Kerry, the Secretary of State, gave Vladimir Putin hours to get the pro-Russian rebels to disarm, but they did not. And now the conflict will rage on. It is not good. Pray, folks. Pray for this situation in Europe. There is absolute, people are in turmoil around the world, the Middle East, Europe, and of course Asia, and now don't forget Africa and the radical Islamic group Boko Haram and those 300 Christian schoolgirls that are still being held captive. Don't forget Iran, that's still working on building a nuclear weapon to try to annihilate Israel. Don't forget, folks, this is a world that is very volatile. And if there was ever a time people need to find Jesus Christ and get a change of heart and please hear me when I tell you this. The Bible told us these days would come, and it's going to get much, much, much worse. Please give your life to Jesus Christ. I'll be right back with more current world events, how they relate to Bible prophecy, and the powerful Word of God. Don't miss today's broadcast, 12 noon Eastern, at my website, www.paulbegleyprophecy.com.